now. So, yoga yukto vishuddhatma, the seventh shloka you see, yoga yuktaha. If you are, if you have followed this yoga yuktaha, if you are endowed with yoga, yogic mind or a karma yogic personality, karma yogic outlook, as we discussed already, is a logical, open-minded, healthy, not extreme, not emotionally attached either to an ideology or to people or fanatic or anything, takes everything for what they are, little open-minded, not prejudiced. This personality is ready for self-inquiry. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma. Vishuddha is a pure. Such a person is a purer heart. Purity means what you call not stubborn, not emotional, not attached to anything, not extreme, not aggressive. This is called purity. And mind is sincere also, not hypocrite, okay? He should be very sincere, honest. So this personality is vishuddhatma, yoga yuktaha. So this vishuddhi, purity, comes as a result of life of karma yoga. Okay, this life of karma yoga, it's not one day. Each person takes his own time. How many months or how many years it takes, we cannot say. But it depends upon how sincerely you live your life. Okay, how sincerely you live your life. So yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya. Then you have a control over yourself. Vijitatma. Atma is your body and mind. Okay, your body mind is under your control. That means you are not fascinated, you are not tempted, you are not attracted by simple pleasures and desires and attractions. A person who is tempted, like your teenage boy, just easily gets attracted to things and he gets carried away by offerings and temptations and all that. A person who is not easily carried away by the temptations and attractions is not that, because he has got a self-control about his emotions, thoughts and ambitions and ideas. Okay, he takes the noble ideas and again regarding them he is not stubborn that I must achieve all that thing. He doesn't take it upon his individuality. Therefore vijitatma means what? Who has mastered, who has self-control. Self-control means his emotions and thoughts have a control. And then vijitendriya, he has a control over sense organs, because the sense organs generally get tempted. Sense organs get attracted to worldly pleasures and activity. See, the impulsive nature goes away. In short, the impulsive nature and instinctive and impulsive nature. So, some people live very instinctively or impulsively. So the impulses and instincts are controlled. He thinks and coolly he responds. Of course, a loving person, but not extremely attached to things. Okay, a non-impulsive person thinks and coolly reacts and responds. Such person, vijitatma jite. This makes a person pure. That's why vishuddhatma. He is a pure personality. Why we need such a personality? Because otherwise, a person impulsive, extremely attached, extreme views and things, such personality will become one-sided. It will not be prepared to look at the facts and understand the facts. Therefore, sarva bhutatma bhutatma, such a person, first he will be a karma yogi. At a later stage, he will take up the jnana yoga, vichara. As a result of vichara, he comes to discover his truth of himself. His self is a universal self. He is no more an individual self, bound to your body, mind and sense organs. That means body, mind and sense organs are there outside, but he doesn't remain bound by the body, mind and sense organ. His outlook is not an individual. He doesn't remain bound to the body, mind and sense organs. He is not a one person of the society. He is the whole society. He is the whole cosmos. He is not an individual in the world. He is not an individual in the world. I give you an example of two things. One is when you are experiencing dream. You are a part of a dream. When you are experiencing a dream, you are a part of a dream, you are a person, you are an individual, part of a dream world. But take another one, you woke up. You woke up from the dream, look at the dream world as a whole. Where are you standing when you are looking at the dream after waking up? No, I repeat, after waking up from the dream, you look at the dream world, where are you standing and what are you? I am standing not as an individual of the waking state, okay? I am standing there not as an individual within the waking state, but somebody who is a witness of the whole dream state. I am not a member, I am not an individual within the dream state, but I have woken up from the dream state. And where do I stand? I stand as a witness of the dream state. Where is that witness? That witness is pervading the entire dream state. Where do you exist when you think of the dream after waking up? After waking up, when you look at a dream, who are you? You are the witness of the entire dream state. Entire dream state. Therefore, you are not a part of the dream state. You are not one individual within the dream state, but you are pervading the entire dream state. You are no more an individual. You are a witnessing consciousness. You are a sakshi to the entire dream state. So this is similar to the Jnani will be to the waking state in that way. A Jnani, an enlightened Tattvajnani, an enlightened Brahmajnani looks at the waking state in a similar way. That means he is not an individual part of the waking state, but he is the whole wakeful consciousness. The whole wakeful consciousness is the witnessing consciousness of the entire waking state, and he is not a part of the waking state. The entire state is within him. He stands as a pervading the entire state. He becomes the entire state. He is not a one given individual part of a waking world. So that is his understanding. Because he is not identified with the waking body, mind and sense organs. He doesn't look at the world as an individual, but looks at the entire world from an equal distance, a neutral distance of pure consciousness, consciousness of the entire waking state. The wakeful consciousness is not an individual. Okay, note this. Wakeful consciousness is not an individual. Okay, because it is aware of the entire waking state. It is just witnessing consciousness. So therefore, he discovers this witnessing consciousness of the entire waking state and dream state. He is no more an individual identified with a given body and a part of the world. Once you identify with the body, you become an individual. As an individual, you are a part of the world. The world is surrounding you. You are interacting with people. As an individual, you have got individual ambitions, desires. You acquire and try to enjoy. Okay? And as an individual, you have got your own social status, national language, and then you are all caste. In India, we have got caste and so many things. Okay? Your profession, your job and all this. So you have got a self-image as an individual. But when you wake up from the dream state or waking state, you have no self-image as an individual. You are the very wakeful consciousness. You are just the consciousness, a witnessing consciousness, no more an individual. You have no image of an individuality. You are just, so as a consciousness, you are not a part of time. You are not passing through time. You become timeless. Okay? You are not passing through time. You are a timeless being. Time is appearing within you. Time is a time only when you have a location within waking state. A located point of time, a point of place. If you have a point of time and a point of place, that is individuality. You transcend individuality, you discover yourself to be the witnessing consciousness, which is not a individuality. Individual means point of time and point of place. Therefore, you are a point within the waking state. You are no more a point. See, you look at yourself, you understand yourself as a being, a conscious being, not an individual. Conscious being, just no, not this word. a conscious being, transcending individuality, because you have no point of place and point of time. You are the whole conscious being. Okay, that is Sarva Bhuta. See, next word in the 7th shloka, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. This expression is beautiful. Sarva Bhuta, Atma Bhuta, Atma. Sarva Bhuta, Atma Bhuta, Atma. You are such an Atma. You are such a natural self. You are that self, means you are natural self, which is an effortless, spontaneous natural self, which has become one with the all individuals, all self, all beings, whether animals, human beings, plants and objects. You become that one, a conscious being, which is the soul of everybody, which is the Atma of everybody. Okay, Sarva Bhuta, Atma Bhuta, Sarva Bhuta, all beings, both beings living and non-living. Atma Bhuta, Sarva Bhuta is all things and beings. Okay, all living beings, living and non-living. Living and non-living, entire world, Sarva Bhuta. Atma Bhuta. Atma Bhuta means you become the soul of, you become the self of all the individuals living and non-living things. You become the soul. That means, where do you stand? You stand once you discover your real nature of the Atma. You are no more an individual. You are that a conscious being, which is the truth underlying the entire universe. Entire universe. Because every object you see as yourself alone. Because you are no more an individual. You are that witnessing consciousness, that conscious being, which is appearing as everything else. Like the gold is pervading all the ornaments, the mud, the earth is pervading all the earthen pots. All the earthen pots are pervaded by the earth. Earth alone is present in the form of all pots and vessels, earthen vessels. Similarly, it is the gold that is appearing as the various ornaments. The gold is one. Similarly, the one conscious being is not an individual. Therefore, is not comparable to others. Others exist only if you are an individual, you can relate to others. But if you see as a whole consciousness, you don't see others. What you call others is yourself alone. Yourself, the self which is not an individual, which is a universal being, universal conscious being, is Brahma. Okay? What is Brahma? That can, if you translate into English, universal or a whole, in English word WHOLE, the whole, entire conscious being, infinite conscious being. It is timeless. It is no dimensionless. It is a dimensionless, timeless, all-pervasive, conscious being. Everything is myself. Everything appears within myself. Okay, Sarva Bhuta, Atma Bhuta, Atma. Such a person, though appears to be working at the level of the body, but the individual may remain as a superficial. Individual is like a character you assume in a drama. Okay, a character, a role you assume in a drama is only apparent to the spectators, to the audience. In a drama, suppose, imagine you are playing a role in a drama. The role is not visible to you who is playing the role. Do you see your role? When you look at your hand, you see your own hand. You don't see the role. It is the spectators of the drama, the onlookers of the drama. They see you. If suppose you are playing a role of a king, okay, you are a king of a kingdom. The ancient drama, we have got even now the Rama Krishna. We have got Rama is a king and Krishna was also king. Even now we have the drama, same dramas we play of the kings and all. Okay, so our Ramayana is eternal. We have got our, in India kings are eternal. Even now we have kings. At least in our stories we have even now. So the Lord Rama comes as a king. So if you are playing a role of a king, you appear as a king to the onlookers in the drama. But for yourself, you are what you are. Similarly, he appears to be acting in the society. He appears to be an individual. He artificially assumes individuality through the body. He is not the body. He assumes the body for sake of functioning in the world. But in his inner understanding is not a body. In his inner understanding is not an individual. In his own understanding is not an individual. He is not located in time and place. He is the whole universe. He is the whole universe. He is no more an individual, but appears to be an individual, acting. So, as though he is acting and working like other people within the world, they are just like a play in a drama. It doesn't affect him. Therefore, kurvannapi na lipyate. See, from the body level, even though he is appearing, acting in the world and helping others, serving the society, he may be doing, but still you can see him. The way of acting is so relaxed, so undisturbed. He doesn't feel restless. He doesn't feel pressurized by the individual desires, individual ambitions. He is not pressurized by individual ambitions, desires, attachments, relationships and all, because there is no more individuality. He appears to be individual, but he doesn't feel the pressure of individuality, because he is a whole being, a cosmic being, selfless, relaxed, peaceful, happy being. That is his jnani's, enlightened man's understanding. The enlightened man's discovery of himself as a very relaxed being. You can see that he is a fulfilled person, fulfilled in all respects. He becomes so relaxed, like a playful, like a baby. You see them so playfully he lives. When the baby laughs, it laughs wholeheartedly. You see them as if the whole cosmos is laughing. You see how baby laughs. When it laughs, the whole cosmos is laughing. Because joy, there is a joy in the entire cosmos. Because he is not pressurized by any individual desires, any want or deficiency in him. He doesn't feel any deficiency, any inadequacy, anything lacking in him. He is a full being, a conscious being. That is the discovery of the truth. That is Paramatma. And that when you discover, you understand you are that. So in a role when he plays, a drama-like role, in a role in a drama, like the bodily which you see him, which we see from our standpoint, that an enlightened man looks like a body, talks like us, individual, but in his inner understanding he is different. The same activity, the same talking, the same relationship, he doesn't relate to you as an individual. You can see the whole cosmos he is talking to you. It is the whole universal being is talking to you. He is not an individual talking to you. It is the whole universal being is responding to you. Individual is only an instrument. Individual is only a vehicle, is an instrument. But inwardly he remains as a whole cosmic being expressing through an individual. Individuality is only a medium expressing. He doesn't stand as an individual. He only expresses as an individual, himself standing as a universal being. See the difference? He stands as a universal cosmic being, but expresses as an individual. Individuality is only an expression. He doesn't stand. From his standpoint, in his own understanding, he is no more an individual. Because there is no point of space, there is no point of time. He is no more within time and place. Time and place is imaginary within him. He stands as a being which is timeless. The being, the conscious being which is beyond space, beyond location. It doesn't have a location. It doesn't have a time. He doesn't have a jnani, an enlightened man, an enlightened person, doesn't feel that he is moving in time. You see, he doesn't feel that he is passing in time. He experiences, I am ever existing timeless being. I am ever existing timeless being. I have no time. I am not passing through time. See, that's a very beautiful understanding. He is a cosmic being, not an individual, who is related to other world from at his own level. It is equality. He sees the world an ordinary man, a jiva. Jiva sees himself as an individual related to the world. World is at his own level. Means he is at the level of the world, and worldly people and things. Worldly people and things are at his level. So they affect him. They affect him, and he carries out work. He relates to the worldly objects and people. They affect him. He lives at their level. They are at the equal level. but an enlightened person. He moves away from individuality, which is a part of the world. He moves away from the individuality, which is a part of the world. He is not located at the level of the body, at the point of the body. He moves away from the body. He expands beyond the body as a consciousness. His consciousness, his identity is not with the body. His identity, his understanding is of the consciousness, which is the whole cosmic consciousness, which is the whole being, universal conscious being. Therefore, that universal conscious being is not a part of the time, is not an individual, he is not passing through time. He doesn't have a time at all. He ever exists, that's all. He's always is, he's ever being, that's all. So that enlightened person is no more an individual. Individual, an outsider may look at him as an individual, but he himself doesn't stand as an individual. Okay? Therefore, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. So this is his enlightened condition. Such an enlightened person, Vishuddhatma. First he purifies as a yogi, as a karma yogi, and he has got a self-control, control over his sense organs, control over his mind. Then he discovers. In his discovery, he transcends his individuality. He is no more an individual. But he may appear to be individual to the onlooker, to the outsider. Though himself doesn't stand as an individual, that individuality is an appearance. He doesn't remain an individual. He doesn't stand as an individual. He appears. See, this is a lot of difference. Like in a drama, an ordinary person assumes a role of a king and appears with a big sword and a crown on his head, and he acts like a king. Okay? He appears, but he is not a king. Okay? He is something more than a king. King, he is only appearing in a drama. Similarly, he appears individual, but he doesn't remain individual. He doesn't stand individual. Individuality is only an external appearance for others. For him, he is a being. Like when you wake up from dream, and look at your dream world, do you still stand as a dreamy individual? See, this is a good example which helps you to understand what you are like when you transcend the dream world. You transcend the dream world. Where do you stand when you are looking at the dream world after waking up? After waking up, when you look at the dream world, where do you stand? You don't stand as an individual who is a part of the dream world. You don't stand there. See, when you wake up from the dream, you don't stand as an individual who is a part of the dream world. You look at the dream world as a dream witness. Witness means what? Not as an individual. You are the whole dream. Because the whole dream has melted into you. Now, where do you stand with reference to dream? You are entire dream. You have pervading the entire dream world. You are not one part of the dream world facing another part of the world. Okay? When you are part of the dream, you are one individual, one part facing the other part of the dream world. But when you wake up to the dream and look at the dream, you are not one part facing the other. One and the other, all the two are part of you. You are facing the entire dream, pervading the entire dream. In fact, from your standpoint, dream doesn't exist because it has melted into you. It has become one with you, who is a universal dream, not an individual dream person. You are a universal dream in the sense you are pervading the entire dream world. That's why the entire dream world has merged into you. Similarly, the entire waking world merges into him, an enlightened person. The entire dream world merges into him. He is not located in the waking world, because being located means you become a part of a space. If you want to pass through time, passing through time means you become located in time. An enlightened man is not located in time, not located in space, not located as an individual facing the other part of the world. You are not one part of the world facing the other part of the world. No part, no division between you and the world. You are not part of the world being surrounded by the world. You won't exist. You exist as a conscious being where entire world is you. Like when you wake up from the dream and look at the dream, you don't find the dream. It appears to be there but doesn't exist. Similarly, the entire waking world appears to be there. But you don't stand as an individual. You stand as a conscious being. The world is within you. Then the time and space just melt away into your pure existence, pure conscious being. Therefore, sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. Such a person appears to be an individual, just an appearance from the onlooker's standpoint. Kurvannapi, as if he is acting, as if he is talking to people, acting people, moving among the people, all that the body looks, acting, talking, and etc. In his understanding, it doesn't stand as an individual. This is the meaning of the 7th shloka. Okay. And the 8th and 9th elaborate the same point. The same what the 7th shloka says, same thing, it little more explains it. Naiva kinch. I think these 8th and 9th go together because they form one sentence. Because the 8th shloka is an incomplete sentence, 9th shloka is also incomplete. You join together these two shlokas and they form one sentence. Therefore, I read 8th and 9th together. Okay. Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavit pashyan shrunvan sprushan jignan asnan gachan swapan shwasan pralapan visrujan grunhan unmishan nimishan napi indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. Pashyan. The sense organs are seeing, eyes are seeing, ears are hearing. Sense is touching. That means all these things I need not tell word by word. Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprushan, Jignan, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Grunnan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi. In these two lines, is talking the functioning of your sense organs. That means the natural function of perception. In short, perception. Perception means that sense organs as perceiving. Okay. The sense organs are perceiving. Yeah, it's here. Sense organs, eyes are seeing, ears are hearing, the sense of touch is touching, the mind is thinking, and all the various sense organs instinctively function. Perception is instinctive. Nobody can stop, nobody can be. You can only identify with it or you can de-identify with it. That's all. Because once you are in waking state, perception is on. The perception with your sense organs, you perceive the world, sense organs are there. It is natural. You can't consciously stop your perception and switch on your perception. See, when you are in waking state, perception is on. Perception stops when you go to sleep, isn't it? Perceiving the world with your sense perception, your mind is thinking and feeling. The feeling and thinking with the mind and perceiving with your sense organs, these three, perceiving, feeling and thinking, these three are very natural, beginningless, in the sense when you are in waking, these thinking and thinking, feeling and perceiving are naturally going on. You have no choice. You can't stop them. You can only redirect them. Instead of looking at cell phone, you can look at somewhere else, the window. You can look at the watch there. So you can change your eyes, but perception is switched on. Once you are wake up, perception is on. It is non-stop. Because sense organs keep watching and seeing. Sense of touch is continuously on. You feel the cold wind cold air, cold or hot or whatever you feel. If you are sitting in AC, you can feel it, isn't it? You feel continuously. This perception stops, the smelling, the tasting, the eyes perceiving, ears hearing, and sense of touch touching. 5 sense organs perceive. This perception is continuously on during your waking state. Only when you fall asleep, the perception suspended. Again you wake up. Wake up means what? What is, it is not, see, we generally say when you wake up, perception starts. No, that is okay. But the way of telling is, it is not that when you wake up, perception starts. In fact, the perception is called waking up. It is the perception of sense, perception. When there is a perception, you call it waking up. When the perception is suspended, you are asleep. Okay. So during waking state, perception and feeling and thinking, it is there non-stop. Nobody can stop. Can you stop your thinking? Can you stop your feeling? Can you stop perception? Because when you are during waking state, it is there non-stop. You have no choice. It is choiceless. And when you fall asleep, it is automatically suspended. There is no feeling, there is no thinking, and there is no perception. So the perception, feeling with your emotion, thinking with your intellect, and sense organs perceiving, these 3, perception, feeling, and thinking, these 3 are naturally there. They are naturally there in the sense they are beginningless during waking. They are choiceless during waking. You may think, instead of one thought, you may think some thought. But some or other thought, mind is thinking. Without thought, you never exist. If you don't think, then you are fall asleep. See, if the thinking stops, then you are not in waking state, you have fallen asleep. If your feeling stops, then you are sleeping. If you are awake, your feeling is there, thinking is there. Some thought occurs to you, isn't it? Some thought is always there. So you may think another object. Consciously you may change. See, 2 things are there. Thinking is naturally there, choiceless. Then where is the choice? The thinking you may direct into one given object. Instead of this object, you think of another object. You think of another object. But some thought must be there. Some thought is choiceless. A given thought is you have a choice. That means you can think of a given object, but some or other thought is inevitable. You have no choice. As long as you are in waking, some thought is inevitable. Feeling is inevitable. Okay? Perception is inevitable, because that's what waking state is. In waking state, it is choiceless. When you fall asleep, there is no perception, there is no feeling, there is no thought. When you are awake, there is perception. There is perception, there is a feeling, and there is a thinking. Therefore, you are passing through time. You are located in space. You are located in space, located in time as an individual. When you fall asleep, there is no location. There is no location because there is no individuality. It is individuality that is located in space and time. Okay? When you de-identify with the body, when you become enlightened, you become de-identified with the body, you are not located because you are not an individual, you are not located in space and time. You exist as a conscious being in which the entire waking state is merged into you. You become the whole wakeful consciousness, whole waking state. It merges into you. Therefore, you are no more an individual. But perception may continue from the waking standpoint because we told it is choiceless. You de-identify. You stand as a witness of the perception, but perception is there. But you means the consciousness. Consciousness stands as a witness to the perception. It doesn't get identified with the perceiving individual. It doesn't become perceiving individual. There is perception, sense organs perceive, but you stand as a witness without being an individual perceiver. Okay? There is perception, but there is no individuality behind to identify with perception and feel that I am undergoing it. There is no individual identification, but there is a perception. Therefore, Pashyan, Shrunvan, all this shloka means when as the perception is on, you understand guna gune indriyan indriyarteshu vartanta iti dharayan. Last line. So the sense organs are perceiving the objects. That means in English there is a perception. Sense organs are perceiving their own respective objects. Eyes perceive colors and forms. Ears perceive the sound. Touch perceives the touches. Hot and cold and hard and soft. Okay. Perception is choiceless, continuous. Perception is choiceless. Okay. Indriyan irdhyarteshu vartante. So it is natural. You are not consciously, you are not willfully perceiving. Perception is not a matter of will. Okay? Perception is not a matter of will. Without using your will, perception is there. See, watch. You are not willing your perception. Perception is there. Okay? Only when you fall asleep, perception stops. Thinking is there. What does the will do? Will only directs the thinking to given object. What does the will do? Will only directs the thought to a given object. But thinking itself is beyond your will. Okay? Thought is there, choiceless. You are not using a will to be in thought, to be thoughtful person. Thought means to be a thinking person, to be a feeling person. Or for a feeling and thinking, you don't use the will. Feeling and thinking is not a will because it is there as long as you are waking. There is some thought and some feeling. But you use the will to direct your thinking to a given object, direct your feeling to a given object. Okay. Therefore, perception also. Perception is instinctively there. It is choiceless. You use your will to shift your head like this. You start perceiving another object. Okay. You move from this place to another place. You start hearing different people talking. So, you use your will for moving your body. But perception continues throughout because it is choiceless. Therefore, you can transcend, you can discover that you are the consciousness, not a perceiving individual. The perception is there, but you stand as a consciousness, witnessing the perception, not identifying with as a perceiver. See, identifying with the perception as a perceiver is one thing. Witnessing consciousness without identifying with as a perceiver is different. Okay? You don't identify with the perceiver. Perception is there, but you stand as a witness. See, this is a beautiful thing. Perception is there, but you stand as a witness, not a perceiver. Being perceiver means you stand as an individual, a part of the waking world. Okay. As a perceiver, you form a part of the waking individual. But as a witness, you are not an individual. There is perception. He says, Pashyan, Shrinvan, Spushan, Jignan, Ashnan, Gachan, Swafan, Swashan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Grundan, Nimishan, all these things are going on. You understand, it is a natural, choiceless. Okay? Indriyan indriyarteshu. Sense organs perceive their respected objects. Mind perceives its own. Mind is mind. Perception is perception. That's all it means. The shloka means only this much. And he understands that I am not that. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Tattvavit, the enlightened person who knows the truth. He understands that I am not that perception. I am not that feeling. I am not that thinking. I am only a pure conscious being, untouched by these things. Okay? How beautifully the shloka explains. Naiva kinchit karomiti. I am not a doer. I am not an individual. Okay? I am not an individual. I am not standing as an individual, as a part of the world. I stand as a whole witness of the whole waking state. As a witness, witnessing consciousness, you are not a part of the world. You are not part of the waking state. Waking state merges in you. You just stand as a universal conscious being. As I told you, 7th, 8th and 9th. These three shlokas go together as a one set. Okay, so we have covered these three shlokas. I think I have explained sufficiently. We'll go to the next in the next class. 10, 11 and 12, these three shlokas form one set. They talk of karma yoga. These three shlokas talk of jnanam, and the next three, 10, 11 and 12, three shlokas talk of karma yoga. Okay, I think we have covered this thing. If there is anything left out, we will discuss in the next class and then proceed to the next three shlokas. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Om. In the beginning, I think in the YouTube, first few, I think 10 minutes I couldn't record, I forgot. Let me see. Oh.